Good afternoon.
Good evening.
This is Movie Talkers on the Pterodome.
Pterodome episode 2.
And what film have we watched today, Adam?
Iron Giant.
You Are Giant.
Iron Giant.
Okay.
It's in the metal.
The Iron Giant was directed by Brad Bird, released in 1999 and stars Jennifer Aniston, Eli and
Marienthal.
Eli Marienthal, and who was the other guy?
Harry Connick Jr.
Hanny Connick Jr.
Harry.
And also stars who voiced the Iron Giant, Adam?
I think it was Helen Bonham Carter.
It was Helen Bonham Carter as the Iron Giant today. Okay.
Oh, it's Vin Diesel.
Of course it is, yeah. Did you know that? Did you not know that? I did not know that this was like his first movie. I thought you knew. I thought I was joking with you.
Fast cars.
Prepare for the Fast and Furious marathon that's coming later in the year.
It's never coming ever.
That's coming soon.
No way.
So get ready for that. Okay, so let's start off with the origins of the story. So did you know that this was a book?
No.
Did
The
you know
comic?
that it was... No, it was just a book.
Wow.
And do you know it was written by Ted Hughes,
Who's
who
that?
was from... Haworth.
Sex and the City.
Haworth.
What's that? Oh,
It's
a
a
place.
small town about half an hour from here.
Really?
Yeah,
He wrote it?
Yeah, he wrote the book.
I would have sworn it would be an
He's
American.
a Yorkshireman. You
Why
know.
would it be an American who wrote this?
No, he was married to a famous American. Do you know who he was married to?
No.
Sylvia Plath.
Really?
Mhm.
She's American?
Yeah.
Man.
And he wrote this book, sort of to try and get over the death of the. He wrote this book for the children to try and get over a suicide death.
By portraying it as a giant Iron Man.
I don't know about all that, but it's just like a nice kid story innit, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of.
Very political film. Was more political than I remember.
Well, as you
Obviously
get-
when you're a kid, you're not thinking about politics.
As you get older, you can kind of.
You could call this a political conspiracy film.
I'd say it's just. It's very focused on the nuclear aspect, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
paranoia, what it means, what weaponry means to humanity, and how humanity can grow or possibly.
How democracy
Not grow.
and Americans are scared of what they don't understand.
It's
It's quite deep, really.
Absolutely.
I would just say this is one of my favourite kids' films ever. We're both very familiar with this film.
Yeah.
Would you say it's slept on?
No, I think it's massive, isn't it? But
It's not as big as some of them, though. I mean,
when it came out,
I've heard a lot. I know a lot of people who've never heard this film. It's not like your Aladdin's, or it should be that level. It's better than a lot.
well,
of
what if I
those
told you it was a massive flop when it came out?
films. Really?
Mhm.
It's insane.
It lost about-
People are crazy.
Well, I think it made 13 off of a 70 million budget,
People are crazy.
and that's not even including your marketing, etc.
This film's for everyone.
Yeah, E for everyone.
This film is for everyone. We've come from
Yeah.
The Fly to this.
Yeah,
We're at the other end. Of
we
the
wanted
spectrum.
to, hit something different, didn't we? We want to keep it fresh, not just make it about horror stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though we both like horror.
Can I just say, this film still looks immaculate.
It really does,
It
yeah.
holds up so well.
There was.
Some films don't hold up. Some older animation, it depends how it's done. This is classic, like arty animation. It's
Well,
beautiful.
it's because if you compare it to the director Brad Bird's Incredibles,
Incredibles doesn't hold
doesn't
up as well.
look amazing today. Incredibles.
If you go back
The
and
first
watch
one.
Incredibles, in my mind, it looks different because when
Yeah.
when it comes out, because it's this new sort of technology and it's not just your classic sort of drawn animation. In my mind, it looks better than it actually looks like. When when you revisit it now, it's not as good.
And I think that's probably down to this is hand drawn,
Yeah.
and
Beautiful
Incredibles is
drawn.
obviously a Pixar film, so it's computer animated. There is one thing in this film that was 3D computer animated. One character,
The giant.
the Iron Giant.
Really?
hmm
Even he looks drawn though.
But don't you think it kind of
I-
gives him this different weight to everything else in the
I
film, doesn't
think-
it? So it really works in a
I
way
think
that he's 3D
You
and
can
the
tell when
rest
he
isn't.
starts getting his weapons out that it's maybe
It's a bit slick.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he is otherworldly, so it makes sense.
it's set, obviously, I think it's set in 1954, 1957. So you've got the looming shadow of World War II from obviously finished 1945. So all these characters have lived through that.
Little small town America.
The main character Hogarth's father is not in the picture at all, and you only see him for one shot, and it's him as a fighter pilot.
Oh, in the frame.
So we probably assume that he has died in the war.
Wow.
Yeah. Which and
subtle. I like the subtleties and the great storytelling. It doesn't have to
tell you.
Doesn't have to lay it all out.
We see a dusty black and white picture of him getting into a plane, and that kind of tells you, maybe not everything you need to know, but everything you could know, really.
The kid's got his jacket. Hogarth wears his jacket.
Oh, and he wears his helmet as well.
And he wears his helmet.
I'd not think of that. I'd not thought of that. That's good, yeah. So just a bit about the director and his relationship to the film. So he has said that his pitch to the studio for this was, what if a gun had a soul? And what if the gun decided not to be a gun and decided to be something more?
Very deep questions about life, technology, harmony,
violence,
peace,
intense violence,
living with the unknown, and
the fear,
the
crippling fear of the bomb,
and how you come to peace with things or people that are different from you.
Mm-hmm. And what if I told you that Brad Bird's older sister was actually killed by a gun? She was shot by her estranged husband, I believe.
Really?
So that kind of gives you a bit of an idea where he's coming from, maybe.
And I mean, it's the characters, the beautiful, what's the word? Disposition?
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful disposition between...
disparity, maybe.
Disparity, yeah. The beautiful disparity between the two older male characters. We've got this straight arrow CIA agent, Boy Scout figure who's trying to be patriotic and look after his country, and then you've got this bohemian, arty
Dean,
type.
yeah, very cool
and
character.
Those two just represent the two outstanding figures from the
that era.
From that era, the 50s. You've got the forward-thinking arty types, new gen people, and these patriotic war government.
And he's terrified, isn't he? That's what his character is, really. Mansley, the agent.
And the changing world.
He's terrified of everything, and that's why he acts like he does.
Well, he represents the government at the time, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you've got that scene where you've got the power that be, which is the general in this case, and then they're both.
I was just going to say that, yeah. That's very, very good, yeah.
Tug of war sort of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought that was a nice disposition between them two, and you could obviously see the standpoint of the filmmaker or the writer, because the government guy's name is Kent, and he is a bit of a Kent.
I thought maybe that was to do with the Superman thing, but you could have
he's Clark Kent.
Yeah, but you think about it, Americans don't say Kent, do they? They say like can't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't, not Kent.
That's what that accent is.
You effing Kent.
Clark Kent.
You bloody Jeffin Kent.
Clark Kent.
So just a final thing about the background. There is quite a famous deleted scene from this that wasn't in the cut that we watched. And it does kind of give you quite a lot. In the deleted scene, it's...
Tell me about the deleted scene.
I will. So, in the deleted scene, we have the giant sleeping over at Beatnik Dude's house. What's his name? I can't remember.
Hey, Mom.
Dean. All right.
Dean's house.
So we have the giant sleeping over at Dean's house, and he has a dream. And in the dream, he sees himself with...
Dean in the dream.
He sees himself with about 20 other Iron Giants, and they're destroying an alien planet.
Ah, so he's at odds of what he's...
He's an alien invader.
There's a few comparisons I made.
Okay.
Sorry, where is it? Okay, cut this bit. The first one was Tin Man, Wizard of Oz. Heart. Can a weapon or a conscious robot have a heart? It's the ultimate question. Tin Man, Wizard of Oz, AI. Are they conscious? Do they have feelings? Brings a lot of that up.
Yeah, for sure.
There's another one.
And he evolves, doesn't he? He actually evolves quite a lot during the film and changes. There's a real big.
Well, it's almost scary how intelligent he is because he can understand English within like 12 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then he can comprehend it, and within a few days he can speak good English. Or
Just
Vin
a final thought on the background of the film is, I haven't actually written it down in my notes, but there was an executive at the time who was involved, and when he was asked about the big flop of the film, he said, "Every time you try to do something intelligent with children's films, you get slaughtered." But what do you think about his point that people aren't perhaps interested in films like this?
I wish they were. It's sad.
This is why we can't have nice things, really.
It's sad. I mean, you said this film is well known, but if it flopped,
Well, it
not as
found
well
its
known.
audience, didn't it, in
cult classic.
home video, didn't it? It
Same
found its
story with
audience
anything that's sort of
maligned. Oh, the best films in history, a lot of them. The Wizard of Oz.
you say it's more highbrow. I think
It's just more intelligent.
well,
It's more thoughtful. It's more personal.
I think a lot of
It's
films,
more artistic than usual.
I think a lot of films fail because they're ahead of the time. People weren't ready for it.
You could see this being made in about 2008 as a
If
Pixar
thi- yeah,
film, and it
this-
would have been,
the-
it would have flown.
Wall-E. If this was made at
The same time as
as
Wall-E.
Wall-E was, it
Yeah.
would have smashed it.
And it's a far better
Oh.
fucking film. The only
Wall-E-
problem with that is that I love the hand-drawn animation so much, and if it was made by Pixar, it would have obviously been.
Wall-E's good though. We could do Wall-E.
I don't like Wall-E.
Come on.
It's long. It's boring.
Shouts out on my Wall-E fans.
Yo, if you're a Wall-E fan, unsubscribe, bro.
No.
Get out of here. We don't like you.
Wall-E's sick.
This is a Fast and Furious fan channel, and let's talk about the
That's
great
what-
man himself right now.
Ugh,
Dominic Toretto himself.
who's that?
Vin Diesel, mate.
Wow.
Vinny fucking D.
Is his name not Vin Diesel?
He is?
Is it? Did he give himself the name Diesel because of Fast and Furious?
No, he was Vin Diesel in this.
His real name's not.
His
Vin
real
Diesel.
name is Vin Diesel, bro.
Vincent Diesel.
Yes.
His last name's Diesel,
Yeah.
and he's in Fast and Furious like a car
What's... I don't get it.
because it's Diesel. I thought that. Did he give himself the name after being in Fast and Furious?
Did he change his name to a car-themed name after being in a car-themed movie? You be the judge.
Well, if that's your life's work and it's the shittest film going, that's all he's got. What else has he got? Riddick.
He's good in Riddick.
Sorry, no.
Pitch Black.
I'm only taking the piss.
He's a big D&D player, which is pretty cool.
Don't come after me, Vin Diesel.
Just quickly on Vin Diesel, a bit of a sidetrack. There's a movie that I quite like. It's called The Last Witch Hunter, and that movie was based on Vin Diesel's D&D character that he has been playing with for 20 years.
I just know.
That is awesome to me.
Yeah,
Is that cool?
I've switched off a bit.
Oh my god. So right, let's get into the story.
Yeah.
So we open, as a lot of 50s sci-fi films do, with something hurtling towards the earth.
Yeah, a sense of wonder, a sense of uncertainty and myth.
And I think you get the first great shot of this film very early on, and it's the shot of the giant when he's mistaken for the lighthouse.
Classic. There's so many classic shots. The
He,
one thing this
go on.
film, I'll just say it briefly. The shots in it, it's like you don't see this kind of shots in animation. You just don't see it.
Well, I was
You
going
don't
to say,
see this clever shots
sorry.
in animation. You'll see like just the way things move and the framing. It's like a Wes Anderson film.
I was going to say that this film has a very good sense of scale, and they use the giant scale and the size of him very well in a number of shots, and I think they're very effective.
It does a lot of things well. The pace of the film
It's quick.
is. It's not only quick; it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's not too quick for it. It's quick. Obviously, a kids' film, you need to retain kids' attention.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't go super fast into it. It doesn't develop at a rate where you think it's I don't know. It's stupid. It perfectly develops and changes and
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So then we had the scene in the diner with the squirrel.
yeah,
It's a cool scene.
classic. They're all classic. You could have a conversation about every scene in this film.
Yeah, maybe we should. And he actually has the famous line in that scene that it came from outer space, which is a classic
Yeah.
movie as well from the time.
I like the scene where
Try to keep it chronological.
the hands in the house. That was after that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And the hand's in the house and it's like a dog and he's pulling it.
yeah.
And then they find the hand in the bathroom and he's pulling toilet paper out like it's just in the shit.
Maybe it did. If the Iron Giant eats metal, does he shit?
If the Iron Giant eats metal, does that mean he's a cannibal?
Yeah,
Or I guess that's just like us eating
but he's
meat.
he's living metal, don't he?
Yeah, it's like us eating meat.
Yeah.
He's just like a carnivore. He's like a cat. He just
Yeah.
survives off flesh.
He must
Metal.
convert it into energy then somehow.
Yeah. You got very intricate. Another thing I mentioned earlier was Tin Man. The other comparison I drew, Transformers, robot aliens. Is the whole Transformers franchise ripped off Iron Giant? You tell me.
Well, maybe it is. Even though the Transformers is like a 80s TV cartoon.
2021.
It's an 80s cartoon, no,
What
it
is
came out the Transformers.
Transformers is?
Yeah.
From the 80s?
Yeah.
But when was this book written?
A good point.
Fact checks. We need to get into the
Robots in
the truth of this.
disguise.
Space robot aliens.
I like the scene very much where he's watching the Beam movie on TV.
There's
I
a
thought
lot.
that was the movie in this is really cool.
There's a lot of clever details in this film. I mean, the drawings of the Iron Giant, the detail in the comics. I mean, it's only it's small stuff, but the detail in every background and every shot and all the little intricate things. Like there's a little bit where it's such a passing shot and a guy spits out his coffee. You could just tell this film was just thought about so
Yeah,
well.
very thought about.
They didn't rush. Like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's a very thought about film. It's all the details are very beautifully placed, and it's just a great film.
Let's get out of here!
Also, the Twinkie in this movie looked pretty damn good, didn't it?
Oh, it's
Cartoon food anyway always looks amazing, but that especially looked amazing for me.
Joe gets me cartoon smoking.
Yeah,
Makes me want a cigarette.
when they're just like,
And they smoke it in one drag.
yeah. Okay, let's think of some more. All right, so as well, I think the design of the giant is just so spectacular and perfect. It
Yeah.
looks amazing. Like you say, every inch of this film is so thought about. And with animation, I guess you do have to make a lot more decisions because you're not. It's like now we could take the camera outside and plop it somewhere, and we've not really had much input,
Yeah.
or we've not no input in that. And then with animation, to do anything, you have to make every decision.
And you don't pick an actor and they perform. You're creating
Yeah,
the
yeah.
entity.
yeah.
One thing I want to mention.
Mm-hmm.
They assumed its gender. Called it a man. Do alien robots have genders?
Cuts. Okay.
It's an important topic.
Next thing. So I think let's just keep trying to go chronologically a bit. So the scene where we first meet the Iron Giant, I think, is very telling for the film, and this whole film kind of rests on that scene where Hogarth is running away because he's scared, but then he makes the decision to turn back and he saves
Yeah.
the giant.
Well, the one thing, would they have the same relationship if they didn't go through that together?
No, I don't think
Talking
so.
about human behaviour. The one thing this film is trying to portray is, a lot of films do it, it's like the pure innocence of a being that has no comprehension of our
Well, let's
culture.
so
got
in
evolution or...
in that scene, the way that he sort of demonstrates selflessness and heroism is sort of where the giant starts to come from. Because I also think, and I don't think I've ever thought this before, I think it's the dink in his head, isn't it, that he doesn't just start destroying everything instantly.
Yeah, and then he sort of gets reprogrammed.
Yeah,
And when the dink pops back out,
he goes mental.
But he's already absorbed the information and has changed.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what it is almost exactly like? The robot in Overwatch.
What robot in Overwatch?
In Overwatch, we should watch that short clip and it wakes up.
Bastion.
Yeah, it's Bastion. And he's got
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bird
man.
on his
Yeah,
shoulder,
man.
And the bird is
Gang.
Hogarth. What a shout.
Yo, that was pathetic. Yo, your references are off the chain, bro. So good. Your references are sick. Here's something I wanted to talk about. So the scene in there's a couple of things. There's a scene in school where they're watching a duck and cover drill. Yeah, Brad Bird is such a cool guy. That scene was actually directed by local students from Cal Arts.
Really?
Yeah. So he's just got them because it was quite a low budget actually for the type of film it is. It's very spectacle based and stuff.
Spectacle based, and it's very intricately detailed.
But I just thought it was really neat that he kind of did that. He just didn't have to. Sweet guy, like giving people the start and stuff.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to mention about that scene is, and the film,
because the animation's different.
it's not really. You can't. I was watching it like a hawk, and I couldn't tell.
Slightly different.
I couldn't tell.
No, the kid's under the desk.
No, the whole scene.
Oh.
Fair enough, though. If you thought that, I was gonna say, what does duck and cover do? Nothing. It makes you feel better as you're about to die, innit?
But no, I think it's more.
You're not. No. If there's a nuclear blast, being under is doing fuck all.
But in other disaster scenarios, like an earthquake, it is.
Well, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, because that's like stuff falling from the roof and
Yeah.
shit. And then Beardsley at the end, where he triggers the atomic bomb to come, he says we're gonna duck and cover, and then the general's like, that doesn't fucking work, you idiot. He's like, what do you
It's like
think?
he's so patriotic that he's indoctrinated into his own bullshit.
He's like, what do you think? We're just gonna sit behind it. It's gonna kill him and not us.
I'm like, this film for me could especially in like '99, could have been verging on being banned in America, or not banned, but it does not reflect the American government well at all.
Oh yeah, I think it has a sort of beatnik heart to it, of kind of hippie-ish tones
It's
to
not
it.
even hippie. It's more just decent
People.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just decency.
Well, thing is, decency to us is like hippie to like Republicans.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, I was watching it and I was obviously you root for the robot. Everyone loves the robot. He's a G. But you see the massive gun coming out of his chest and the things. You think maybe this isn't the safest environment for a small child.
Yeah.
to be in.
I just want to point something out, just to play devil's advocate a bit. Really, the Iron Giant is there to destroy the Earth, and and of course it works out fine, and he gets influenced by Hogarth and everything. But really, Beardsley I don't think that's his name, but Beardsley, whatever it's called, the agent dude. Who is Tim Beardsley?
Tim Beasley, that's some spin.
Oh yeah.
He's called.
Let me keep going. I'm gonna lose it. What is it? What am I saying even? So he, in another version of this film, could be the hero, is what I'm saying.
It's true.
Because he is acting in the best interest of the country. He is trying to protect people, even if it's for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
For all he knows, the Iron Giant at any time could just get all this mad weaponry out, like he does.
The other thing that I think comes across is, it's like you said about the analogy that the Iron Giant's a gun. It's like he didn't ask to be created for his purpose. He doesn't want...
He has
hardwired
sentience,
to-
yeah.
Yeah, he has sentience. He was invented to be a killing machine, but he doesn't want to be that. And he didn't ask to be created.
It's
Quite deep. It's quite a philosophical film,
Yeah.
really.
It's a real shame that the film didn't perform well, because you could definitely see a sequel, because someone's sending these robots to Earth.
The sequel would have to be him travelling into space, or if the robots...
No, that's what it'd be, yeah.
The robots come to
The
find
robots
him,
come to find him.
and he has to convince them.
No, he fights them, I reckon.
He either fights, he half fights them, so he fights them for a time, and he's working with the humans, and then there's a big spectacle where he has to convince them about the humanity, and then they all convert and they get their own colony on the moon. Come on, they all go live on the moon, and
What did they do though?
They just have robot shit play tennis.
There's no metal there to eat.
They take all the world's scrap.
Okay.
Or they could live in Antarctica.
Yeah. Well, he's in Iceland at the end, I think.
Yeah, Iceland's a bit small.
How long did it take the little screw at the end? Not to just jump straight to the end, but how long did it take the little screw at the end to fucking roll from, Maine to Iceland?
Maine's like northern.
I've no idea. It's in America, yeah.
They swim.
Does it roll on the ocean floor?
Maybe it gets in the water and then it spins like a little jet.
No. I think it's going boink, boink,
How can it even
Boy.
maneuver itself?
boink. For I think the Iron Giant reassembling himself probably took 3 years.
If you start getting in the logistics of the
Oh yeah, I guess.
the way an alien robot works, you're gonna come in some different.
So you get a lot of cool scenes with the robot Dean and Hogarth kind of hanging out and being boys. That's kind of cool.
This is when he's learning human behaviour,
Mm.
sort of soaking it all in.
And what it is to have fun and goof off.
What it means to be human, really. The ups and downs.
Mm.
You've got the happy times, jumping in the pool. You've got
That
the
was so
sad
cool.
time when the deer dies, and then he starts to understand death
Mm.
and what death.
He is very childlike, isn't he, as a character?
Yeah.
He's very impressionable.
He's impressed. Well, he's unspoiled by human patterns and human genetics. He's just a blank slate, absorbing information.
Imagine if
Like an AI.
Imagine if a film where the Iron Giant comes across a child who's just a dick, and the Iron Giant's just yeeting cows 500 foot in the air.
The Iron Giant comes across Sid
From Toy Story. I was just thinking about that, yeah. Now that's a movie I would see now. That's more of a David Lynch film, I reckon.
And then he's stood on his shoulders and they go on a rampage and just destroy the world.
Yeah, or they just do mad shit I don't know, pick up a cow and just throw it 2 miles. It's 100 mile an hour. Some shit like that. The scene's cool where it's one of my favourite bits in the film, to be fair, where he has Hogarth in the car and he just spins. In real life, I guess, you'd probably be...
brain would exit through his ears.
I think you'd just become jelly, wouldn't you?
It's like
you'd
12
you'd
G.
implode, yeah. It's beyond.
It's like 12G force. You have no muscle tissue left. It just
Yeah.
disintegrate.
Yeah.
Be like
Okay.
kinetic energy, probably set on fire.
Yeah, probably. Spontaneously combust, I reckon. So let's go a little bit further now.
So him and Hogarth are sort of bonding. The straight arrow CIA
Beardsley.
sort of special. What did he say? Beardsley.
Where is it? It's Mansley.
Mansley. Kent Mansley.
Yeah.
He sort of comes into it and he ends up renting a room in Hogarth's house because he's onto him and he knows. And can we just say, there's a very suspect scene
Yeah.
where
He fucking dopes him, man. Roofies him straight up. It's not
he
cool, but
chloroforms the kid.
I know it was the 50s and you could kind of get away with
He drugs
chloroforming
the
kids,
kid.
but
He
it's
drugs the
come
kid,
on.
And then he sits and stares at him and watches him all night.
He kicks him to a void as well. Where was that? He takes him to a black void. Do you remember? And he just comes out of the darkness when he's sat on the table.
Oh yeah.
What's going on there? It's like the CIA black void that they have access to. They can just open portals
It's
to.
like the camera, the way that the light.
I don't. Yeah, I guess. But it's just freaky, wasn't it? It literally was looked like a black void. Here's something I want to mention. Crazy Earl, this fisherman at the beginning, calls the government. Okay, the government gets on the phone with this dude, and they fucking send a guy off the back of his phone call.
No, because they had reports of an object entering the atmosphere.
No, he said I called the government, and and then he said I'm sending a dude.
Yeah.
He said the government is sending some dude.
But when Kent Mansley, or whatever his name is talking to the guys, he said we had a call from whoever saying that there was an unidentified object in that area, and then the guy ran. So because they already had, that's what they said.
I like the idea that this guy called up and they were like, "Whoa, shit."
It should be good if they didn't send him in it. They sent X-Files or some independent investigator.
Well, he says he's.
X-Files are.
It's like this, yeah, similar in it. The X-Files. I've never seen the X-Files. I really don't know.
Is it a Disney film? This?
No.
What is it? What company made it?
Warner Bros.
What other classic? I'm trying to think of other classic.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's not like a. That's not,
Wait, I know what
like
you're trying to say. No.
Like a kids' film from that era, from one.
From the 50s.
No, no,
Of
from
the 90s?
90s, early 2000s. I'm trying to think of other animated Warner Brother.
Fucking Looney Tunes back in action.
Is that one with the horse? That might be Warner Brothers.
Free Spirit. Not something. Spirit or something. Animated, Warner, Boss, Move.
Is it called Black Horse or Black?
No, it's called Spirit, isn't it?
What we got here? Space Jam.
Yeah.
You said it.
Yeah.
Osmosis
Oh.
Jones. Oh my god.
They're kind of smashing it, to be fair.
Osmosis Jones.
That's one we could do
We could
sometime.
do- yeah, that's coming later.
See, that's Osmosis Jones is like a film as good as this almost, but is not talked about at all.
Classic film.
Yeah, brilliant.
Will Smith, Bill Murray. In the idea. Let's not get.
Yeah, let's.
That's
It's another
gonna be
episode for another day.
incoming.
Okay, so another thing I wanted to get into here is how good the director is in this movie, really, and he kind of picks moments that I guess most
He is.
directors kind of don't look for in animation. So, like, do you remember the scene where he's slamming the phone down, like, and he can't do it, and then it's all these little touches that
Yeah.
really don't need to be there, and they add to the film in such a way it makes it all so much more real and human than
Yeah.
usual.
It's the imperfections and the way that the imperfections are demonstrated through animation. You could tell this film was very heavily directed.
Mm.
When a lot of animated films, like, they're still directed, but in a more of a storyboard sense, rather than like they're going through the scenes and actually adding little sparkle.
Well, I was going to say was a lot of animated films today, and even from this time, were directed by like 2 or 3 people. And in this
Yeah.
film, it's written and directed, and it's a very singular vision, one person's vision. Do you know what I mean? I love that.
I mean, it's a beautifully animated film, but then it doesn't even run like animation. It's
Not really, no.
It's a great film, man.
I think the widescreen helps you see it as a film as well, rather than an animated
Yeah,
film.
definitely.
Mm.
And as we said before, just the way the choice of shots, the transitions.
Let's talk about the shot where Hogarth and the giant go bounding off. Hogarth and Hogarth and the giant fall off the cliff,
bounding off the cliff.
and when it's the shot of Jennifer Aniston's character, and then they just fly past. Immense.
What I thought would be funny is if in coming past the mum, he just burnt her to a crisp. Disintegrated her.
Obviously, it's a kids' movie, but in reality, there would be a lot of collateral damage here.
Well, he blows up all the tanks when he's getting angry.
There's at least people in there. There's at least one person.
Well, the first tank he blows up wasn't evacuated, so he's killed at least. But how many people has he saved by sacrificing himself with the nuke?
But arguably, he caused the nuke, didn't he? Obviously, it was Mansley, what it was called, but
Well, I think as well, the way this film wraps up, that him going out in a blaze of glory,
the
complete
Superman.
selflessness, he is Superman, he's embodying that, and he's sacrificing himself.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's real feel film,
Trust me.
and it's a crier as well. Obviously, I was close, but I didn't cry actually. But it was. I could have been. I was there. The tingles were there.
The tingles were there.
Let's talk about what this is a
I
Superman
get it
film
more.
as well.
I get more emotional of a being that is complete innocence, like
Than a human.
than like
An
film-
animal.
Films with animals, like, it sounds stupid, but robots or things that aren't human, that understand human behaviour, but they've got that pure innocence. They're not tarnished by the things that we all have.
In closing, I wanted to ask you this, Adam. So when I was reading up about this film, I came across a essay, and it talked about how in kids' films like this is instrumental in deciding your morality as a person. So when you watch this as a kid, you take in the messages so deeply, and it has been proven that people who are brought up, I'm not saying if you were brought up without movies and TV, you're not going to have a moral compass, but what I'm saying is it helps.
Yeah, and I think this film, for anyone, is like,
It's a terrific message.
it's
Of,
going to make you a better
Well, it's-
adult.
yeah, it's you are who you choose to be. That's the movie, innit?
I'm trying to think of a kids' film that after watching it would make you a dick when you're older.
I really don't think there is one that I can think of. It's going to be something mental in it. Like, how about the Check Alice in Wonderland. That's fucking freaky as fuck. Have you seen that?
No.
Terrifying.
I don't mean the actual film terrifying. I mean
Okay, like the message.
The underlying message.
Yeah, I don't really think people make films for kids that have bad messages in them, but you know, we could start that. That sounds like good. It's quite funny to me.
Yeah.
We could make kids films that like promote just like murder and destruction, and just teaches you like a really inspirational message about how to do those things. See what I'm saying? So, do you think watching this film has influenced your moral compass or in a young age? Can you see it in your psyche now?
I mean,
Like, if you came across an Iron Giant, would you know what to do?
it's got a very. I mean, the thing is with that, because it's got a positive message and it's all messages that I agree with now, I'd want to say yes, but it's probably not. It's probably a accumulation of things. But one thing I would say is, I think films like this probably affect your subconscious more
Then you realise.
than you realise, and they probably embed themselves in you in a certain way.
Yeah, I could get that. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that. It's
So
good.
yeah, Pterodon, episode 2, Iron Giant. It's a classic, one of my favourite kids' films.
And just a closing statement, would you recommend?
yeah,
Of course.
everyone, like
Anyone.
young, old. The beauty of this film is
And films like this,
it's got everything. It's got a message.
they're universal, aren't they? They transcend language and culture,
Yeah.
films like this.
It's excellently
It's
made.
about anything.
You can watch it with your nan. You can watch it with your kid. You can watch it with.
My
anyone.
nan loved The Fly as well. So I don't know what you were talking about last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got, yeah, she watched it. Thought it was really really cool. So what do you know?
Not much.
Alright, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Peace.